Alright guys, so this is my honest review of the new F-5 AG, the event vehicle that I spent hours grinding for, and I'm going to decide if it's truly worth it. Alright, so starting off with sim battles, y'all know if you've seen the channel that I play sim quite a bit. It's not great. Not having a radar does make it pretty difficult to find people, to track enemies, but once you found someone, if you get up close and personal, you will take the advantage, you will outturn them. Your IR missiles are great as long as they're not ready for it, especially since you don't have a radar. It's not likely to trip off their RWRs, which does help quite a bit. So here I'm using a Penguin missile, trying to guide it in to hit their aircraft carrier. Don't use Penguin missiles in sim, they're pretty terrible. It's very hard to get a lock on target, and typically it will just pass right by them, as you'll see here. Again, if you're using a HOTAS setup, you're going to have to switch off, most likely to use your keyboard, and that is just not preferable. It's pretty terrible. Now moving on to ARB, it does get a lot better. Those AIM-9Ls do rip, especially when they're not paying attention, and the radar doesn't matter as much because the enemies are highlighted. But I'd much rather use something like the Viggen with its RB71s that'll go all the way up to 13.0 on the Gripen, so you know they're pretty good if they carry over that far. The AJS-37 is also good with its ground pounding loadout, and it gets AIM-9Ls as well. You can see I do get pretty good down tiers. It's not a full down tier, but it's much better than facing 12.0 all the time. And basically, as I said before, the AIM-9Ls are going to work for themselves. If people aren't paying attention, it will get the kill. All aspect missiles on an F-5 are great, especially at close quarters. You're not going to have to worry about dying to people constantly. You do get 60 countermeasures, so that does help quite a bit. But overall, I'd probably rate this plane about a 5 out of 10. There's much better options, especially in the Swedish tree. You get the MiG-21 Bison, the J-37C Viggen, which is 0.3B or higher, but unless you don't already have a plane at 11.0 in the Swedish tree and this is your only option, I would try to play something else. But putting a talisman on this plane and playing it until you unlock something higher that you like in the Swedish tree is also an option. Obviously, I've already reached top tier, so it's a little too late for me, but it may not be too late for you. Overall, it can be fun, but you have to know what you're doing.